At night, a loud scream resounds throughout a forest. A terrified blonde guy is running away from a snarling female demon. 10 hours ago, Xiao wonders what he should do. He's at his school's rooftop when his friends found him. Xiao refers to them as bad friend A and B. When they ask him why he's there, he answers that he just needed a breather. Bad friend A says they thought that he was sad because he's still single at 18 years old. His words hit Xiao's sore spot, and he gets annoyed. It then tells him that they have a plan so he can escape the single life, which then interests Xiao. Later at midnight, he finds himself alone at the abandoned building behind his school. He was tricked into believing that walking around the area would bring him romantic luck. As the chilly wind blows, making him cold, Xiao says he shouldn't have come. He decides to hurry back home and deal with his friends tomorrow. The wind picks up, rustling the leaves. A bird passes by him, which spooks Xiao, who immediately thinks it's a ghost. In his panic, his foot trips over a tree root, making him fall. His loud yells and subsequent crash resound throughout the area. Xiao's on the forest floor, whimpering in pain. Eventually, he proceeds to walk, but he's not lost. When he hears the sounds of flowing water, he's stunned as he doesn't recall any bodies of water nearby. Xiao locates it and becomes mesmerized as the whole place looks beautiful. From deep in the waters, air bubbles come up. He turns to look at it just as someone emerges. A beautiful horned voluptuous woman appears, which shocks Xiao. While the beauty is surprised too, her large assets make him stare, and instantly he faints, his nose bleeding. He hears someone's voice, waking him up. He's greeted by a wrathful demon who threatens his life. He scrambles to say that he didn't see anything earlier, but the woman summons her magic, saying she'll obliterate his memory. Xiao scrambles back as she aims a pointed crystal at him. While he's shocked to see magic, the demon trips on rock. With a scream, she falls, her chest hitting his face. There's a loud crash, and she ends up on top of him. He is blissful as he's against her soft and warm body. They both blush at their compromising position. He tries to move away as it's too much for him, but it's too late, and he chokes blood. The horned beauty is embarrassed, and he tries to calm her down as she gets up. With a snarl, she chases after him. The chase continues, and Xiao apologizes that he didn't mean to peek at her while she's bathing. He continues to run, terrified, while she demands him to stop. She curses that she ended up entering a pact with a human. Panting, she slows down and eventually stops. She mutters that the guy sure runs fast. While she tries to catch up with her breath, she gets approached by another man, which surprises her. She gets asked by him if she wants to play airplane chess with him, which annoys her. Later, screams can be heard from the alleyway. She emerges into the street, dusting her hands as she scoffs at him. She mutters, saying she should hurry and find a human. When a cat saunters into the alleyway, it runs back out, spooked by the man whose bum is pierced. Meanwhile, in his apartment building, Xiao slams the door of his unit. He pants, wondering what just happened. Thinking he escaped, he slumped against the door, relieved. He then loudly claims that there are no such things as monsters. Convinced that it's all his imagination, he plans to retire for the night, when he hears a loud pounding on his door. Frightened, he gulps and approaches his door. He slides open his door viewer, but it's only a girl asking him to play airplane chess with her, so he slams it back close. She pounds on his door again, saying they can play another game, but he only ignores her. The wind coming from the window is making him cold, and he's about to close it, when he sees something scary. Someone lands on his windowsill, and it's the horned beauty who greets him. Terrified, he apologizes again, saying it's all an accident. With a scary face, she says she's still going to beat him up till he loses his memory. Suddenly, she wobbles. Confused, she wonders what's going on. She figures it's because of the pact that she lost her power. She tips forward, scaring Xiao, and she crashes onto him. He freezes, and he realizes she's fallen asleep. Scared, he wonders if she's going to sleep on him for the whole night. The next morning, the horned beauty wakes up in bed. She's rubbing the sleep away from her eyes when someone asks if she's awake. Immediately, she gets angry, asking if he did something to her. He replies he's too tired to do that, and offers her breakfast. She harems, saying she doesn't eat human food. However, her stomach grumbles, and in a flash, the food on the plate disappears. As she gobbles the food, she says she'll eat a bit since he behaved last night. She then smacks a paper on his face, instructing him to read it aloud. Confused, he reads the paper, and chokes when it talks about a demon lord and goddess. He asks her if she's being serious. She picks up a figurine from his desk, and with a scary face, she asks him if he adores it. He begs her to let go of it while she threatens to remove its head. His knees hit the floor, and he kowtows before her while promising to read the paper aloud seriously. Addressing the demon lord, he then states that he voluntarily breaks the contract with the demon princess. Instantly, the 3 marks on her chest disappear. Happy, she celebrates that the pact is terminated. Clueless, he asks her what she's talking about. She only tells him well done and carelessly tosses his figurine to him. Xiao tries to catch it, but it falls to the ground, breaking into many pieces. Dismayed and heartbroken, he picks the pieces up. She tells him he's being dramatic as it's just some figurine, which makes Xiao grip the sharp pieces in anger, wounding him. She asks him what he's trying to do as he stands up angrily. He grabs her, saying she'll never understand how important the figurine is. Unknowingly, he drips blood from his wound into her chest. Suddenly, something powerful passes by his face, landing right behind him on his wall. She's angry that he dared to raise his voice at her, who's the next successor of the demon realm. With her deadly aura around her, she raises her hand, gathering magic, and she's about to attack him while Xiao screams his apologies, but the attack never came. Opening his eyes, he glances at her and realizes that she's motionless. Confused, the demon glances down, wondering when they made another pact. Xiao tries to make sense of what she just said. He recalls that he told her to stop, which she did, and also of the pact she wanted to break. Then the realization hits him. He instructs her to meow like a cat, which pisses her off, but then she freezes and struggles. Eventually, she utters a meow, making Xiao amazed that it worked. As she immediately becomes angry, he realized his conclusion must be right. He stands up, saying things are becoming fun, which alarms her. Approaching her, he says that he has an outfit in his collection that would suit her. She becomes frightened, begging for mercy. Xiao classily takes a sip, saying it's satisfying to drink Coke from a wine glass. Meanwhile, the horned beauty, who's in a maid uniform, asks him if there's anything he wants. Against her will, she addresses him as master. He tells her the outfit suits her before instructing her to massage his hurting legs. Inwardly, she's fuming at his audacity, promising to exact revenge. As she massages him, he tells her it's nice to have a servant. He wants a shoulder massage next, which she's forced to agree with. Afterward, Xiao looks dissatisfied as she massages his shoulders. He tells her to use more strength, but when she does, he cries in pain. With a terrifying stare, she asks him if he wants her to stop. She then gets mad that he's ordering her around, which makes him apologize. Outside Xiao's apartment, bad friend A and B are lurking. A tells B to apologize to Xiao since he's the one who suggested they lie, while B tells A to do it instead because he planned the whole thing. Suddenly, they hear a scream for help. Recognizing that it's Xiao's voice, his worried friends rush up to his apartment, where they find him being strangled by a girl in a maid uniform. At once they leave, apologizing that they disturbed them. Desperate, he yells for them to come back. Later, after explaining everything, his friends are still confused. A says that even though he doesn't understand, he praises Xiao for knowing how to play. Exasperated, he then asks his friends why they'd come. A replies they wanted to apologize about yesterday, which pisses Xiao off now that he remembers. A then asks him if he forgot that the devilish girl is coming back that day, which Xiao confirms. His phone rings, and he answers it gingerly. Someone screams into the phone that he only has 2 hours to show up at the airport. He replies that he's already on his way, but the caller already hung up. Quickly, his friends make an exit, while he implores them not to leave him. As they slam the door, he calls them useless. Nervous, he turns to the demon and says he should be going, but she halts him. She tells him that he needs to break the pact first. He tells her he'll do it when he gets back as he doesn't want to be late. She tells him no, as he might run away, and decides that she'll come with him. He exclaims that she can't, which only pisses her off. He explains that he'll be killed if he's seen with other girls. Letting go of him, she clicks her teeth, saying he's so troublesome. With a snap of her fingers, her body glows, before transforming into a pretty boy, who then tells him that it should be okay now. Meanwhile, a pink-haired girl sniffs the air before exclaiming triumphantly. She looks over the city, saying she's found it. She grabs her cloak off, stating she can sense the presence of the demon princess. On the city streets, people turn around, appreciating the pretty girl near them. However, their subject of attention is pissed off, thinking humans are annoying. She contemplates killing them all when somebody comments on her ears. There's a man taking pictures of her, saying she's cool for cosplaying as a demon. Pleased, she then admits some humans can say nice things. Still, she needs to find the demon princess before the elders find out she's missing. She turns her head and mutters she hasn't taken a look into that alleyway yet. While whistling, she looks around the rundown place. Unbeknownst to her, someone is watching. The man hurries to report to his boss, but he's already seen her. With an evil smirk, he tells his underlings that a little kitten has trespassed in. Later, the girl looks around her as she's surrounded by several mean-looking men. Crossly, she tells them they're blocking the way, and the boss is amused that she doesn't know what situation she's in right then. He says that even though she's just a little girl, he won't let her out of his territory. Shocked that he referred to her like that, she fumes silently while the boss demands that she gives him money. Calling her a kiddo, he threatens they'll do something bad if she doesn't comply. Mad that he kept referring to her as a child, she slams the gangster's head on the ground. An underling gets mad, but she easily defeats him too with a kick to his family jewels. His mouth foams due to the pain. She then tells everyone that nobody, even those in the demon realm, dares to call her a kid. With her face looking demonic, she says that they are just mere bugs to her. Scared, the men immediately try to apologize. Afterward, the girl harumphs and dusts her hands together. She declares she just wasted her time while around her are the men she just beat up. She decides to just use her teleportation magic, though it'll spend much of her stamina. Instantly, she disappears while the boss whimpers in pain. He pulls his head from the ground, stunned that he actually survived. Meanwhile, Xiao sneezes. He wonders why he suddenly has a foreboding feeling. Nearby, the demon girl-turned-guy is fawning over everything he sees, which Xiao finds embarrassing. In the airport, a girl named Manga impatiently glances at her phone. When somebody calls her name, she turns to look, and she immediately gets angry at Xiao. She demands that he apologize, and he questions her why. She punches him, saying it's because he made her wait for a long time. He apologizes, saying something happened along the way and that they're not alone. The demon greets her hesitantly, and immediately, Mangi's attitude changes into something affable. She introduces herself as Xiao's girlfriend, while the demon claims his name is Eric. Xiao is stunned, telling her to stop messing around, but when she mentions they made a pact before, it interests the demon. The demon asks Xiao if he's a celestial being since he can make pacts though he's not a demon. Mangi replies that she's actually a hero of the human realm. The demon is alarmed since there hasn't been one since the last war as was agreed. Mangi bursts out laughing, telling a cringing Xiao that his friend has 8th grade syndrome. The demon grabs him, asking him what they're talking about, but Xiao only tells him to stop asking so much. Mangi watches them, musing that something is off. Xiao then says they still have something to do, so he'll just send her home, but Mangi refuses, wanting him to accompany her. Later, in a dessert store, she's happy and satisfied. Xiao grumbles for her to hurry and eat, while the demon recalls what he said earlier about being killed. He stomps Xiao's feet, which makes the other nervous. He then asks Eric if he wants to eat, but he claims he doesn't care for junk food in the human realm. When Xiao reminds him of the bread he ate yesterday, the demon gets mad, which makes him immediately apologize. Eric then says he only ate the bread due to the pact they had, in an attempt to shut the demon up. Xiao shoves a donut in his mouth. Angrily, Eric slams his foot down Xiao's. While the demon threatens him with his mouth full, Xiao makes a pain noise. Mangi asks him what the problem is, and the blonde lies, saying his leg is numb. Eric, now that he's gotten a taste of the donut, is in awe of how sweet and delicious it is. Xiao is relieved that the demon is now distracted. Still, he wants him to remove his foot from his, but he doesn't want to risk gaining his attention again. Suddenly, another foot slams on top of his, causing his face to twist in pain. A hand grabs his shirt, and Mangi asks him what pact Eric was talking about, while he lies that he has no idea. Stomping on his foot again, she forces him to answer her, and he lies again, saying he's only talking about a game. Though pacified, she still thinks something is fishy. When Eric asks for another donut, Xiao protests, saying he already ate his share. However, when the demon questions whether the human has a problem with that, Xiao only says he'll pay the bill. Defeated, he wanders away, muttering what he just got himself into. Mangi finds it strange that Xiao just yields to whatever Eric wanted. While the demon gets his treat, she starts to suspect that both guys are having a relationship. Suddenly, she tells Eric that Xiao can only date girls. Meanwhile, at the toilet, the blonde complains about his abused foot, saying it hurts. Outside his stall, a magic portal appears. The person who emerges wonders where they are. Suddenly, someone is pounding on the door of Xiao's stall. When the unknown person hears his protests, they're confused. The person breaks the door, shocking him. He cowers by the toilet bowl, while the pink-haired demon asks him who he is. Wondering if she's lost, Xiao tells her that they're in the men's toilet. while the girl wonders why her teleportation magic led her to him. When she doesn't answer, he asks her if she's lost, addressing her as a kid. She's thoroughly annoyed when he pats her head as he says she better hurry out. She grabs his shoulder before yanking his arm and flinging him away. She's mad that he patted her head. Xiao lands painfully. The girl approaches him, asking why the demon princess presence is on him. She stomps on his belly and demands that he tell her where she is. Though he realizes whom she's referring to, he decides to get away first. He pretends to be dead while waiting for a chance to escape. As he was lively just earlier, the girl threatens him by lowering his foot near his family jewels, saying she'll send him to hell. Instantly, he halts his pretense, telling her to stop. Meanly, she commands him to tell the truth. He then tries to trick her, saying the demon princess is behind her, but she knows he's only trying to distract her. Still, she glances behind her. As she's distracted, he decides to escape then. He backs away fast, catching the girl in surprise. Meanwhile, Mengi is enjoying her drink when she notices Xiao running past her. Eric recognizes his pursuer, who demands the blonde stop running. Shocked, he calls her Lilith. Outside, Xiao pants, saying he can't run anymore. He's relieved that he managed to escape the petite girl, but then a voice tells him to stop running. He's terrified to see that she's just behind his back.